Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. A project that will supply underground coal gas from a deep stranded coal deposit in the Free State will transform the face of coal mining and electricity production in South Africa. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Now, this project seems like South Africa's dream come true. What is it and how does it work?
Yeah, underground coal gasification makes use of coal that is stranded. It wouldn't be used, it's inaccessible, it's regarded as being too deep. But you ignite that coal and you create a gas from the coal and you use that gas as a fuel. That fuel is used as to create electricity, and it can also be used, you can extract some of the parts of it to create diesel and petrol and chemicals, as Sasol does. So you've got a possibility of a joint Eskom type Sasol activity coming out of underground coal gasification, known as UCG in South Africa. In Canada it's known as in situ coal gasification. It's still the same thing and because it refers to, you know, getting the energy from that coal while it is still in place. In other words, you don't mine it, you don't actually take it to surface, which is quite a big benefit. You use oil and gas drilling techniques to get to this coal and then to ignite it. And to keep it going is quite an effort. A lot of people fear that, you know, you must never set a match to coal because you're going to cause trouble underground, there'll be fires forever. But it's not quite the case. You actually need to keep giving a little bit of oxygen to the area to keep the ignition going. The ignition then gives you the gas in the volumes that you work out. You pipe that to surface. You make use of this gas. And it is a potential combination of what Eskom does and what Sasol does.
Clever. Now, combined cycle gas turbines are costly. Why is this project seen as feasible?
You know, it will make use of combined cycle technology. And, you know, both the public sector in the form of Eskom have got a project in Majuba. Eskom have been working on theirs for 6 years. You know, they're wanting to make sure, being a state-owned entity, you know, every step they take has got to be pristine, particularly with regard to the environment. But a lot of valuable research has come out of that, and, you know, it's starting to reach the point of feasibility and getting towards a pilot plant, beyond the pilot plant. Now, with in the Free State, in Tennyson, 2 entrepreneurs have got involved, former Sasol employees, and the one is Johan Brandt, and the other is Elifas Monkwe. Well, we know that Elifas was part of a consortium that bought up BHP Billiton assets, and in doing that, he's also, with Johan Brandt now, got this company, African Carbon Energy, and they have an advanced plan for creating a UCG plant to produce electricity in Tennyson in the Free State, where they have this old BHP Billiton deposit, about 1.4 billion tons of coal, and in a very big area. This is only one section that they're looking at. They've bought up farms there. They're wanting to already, the farms would be in the heart of the area, so, and that would be where the combined cycle electricity plant would be positioned. And they're looking very moderately at a commercial plant that if they win this next Eskom base load, what they call a PPA, it's a sort of a guarantee that you'll get a price for the power that is bought, initially at a 50 megawatt operation. But why they can do that is because the price of electricity has risen in South Africa, you know, from I think a few years ago, 12 cents per kilowatt hour up to 61 cents per kilowatt hour, and still going to go further. The tariff will be greater. So they won't require any rebate. They'll be able to compete within that arena, provided they get what they call that PPA, that price agreement from Eskom, when Eskom next calls for bids for base load suppliers, and that's what they're waiting for, and they're at the ready for that.
I suppose they're happy then that the price has increased while the rest of us are not so happy.
Well, you see, what happened was Eskom really fell behind with its prices. You know, and the real analysis is to compare Eskom's price to global prices. That's what should be done. And then one would see that the price of energy has gone up everywhere in the world. It's just that Eskom has been so far behind because it's been giving away electricity that it now has to catch up, and that's never good for an economy. It's better to do things regularly and to increase slowly, which for some reason Eskom thought they could get away with not doing, and the whole nation has now been caught up in this.
Now, talking about things that are not good, what are some of the constraints and challenges facing the project?
You see, with gas, we haven't got a gas economy in this region. Although there's a lot of potential for this underground coal gasification, not only in South Africa. You could do it in neighboring Botswana, Mozambique, even Namibia, other places in Africa. But unlike the United States of America, we don't have a network of pipelines for gas. Whereas we do have a grid, a very good grid for electrical energy. That's why it's easier to convert this into electricity and put it onto the grid, provided you've got the agreement with Eskom, because that's like having a pipeline. It's taking your energy. In America, it's different. They've got this pipeline grid, which is very, very valuable. So the constraint is that any entrepreneur coming in now won't be able to put gas in and get money out from pipeline. He won't be able to just put it into a pipeline and get the money at the other end, because there's no pipeline. But who's to say a pipeline shouldn't be developed? Why not develop this gas grid? If we are going to have shale gas, hopefully, gas economy has transformed the United States of America. It's brought the cost of energy down, but it's also given them energy independence, which is huge, in today's economics. So it is something to consider. But in the meantime, I suppose the easiest way is to get it onto the electricity grid, and then perhaps also look to extracting these very valuable potential elements from it to create petrol and diesel and chemicals. Sasol's been doing that for 50 years. These two entrepreneurs with African Carbon Energy, Johan Brandt and Elifas Monkwe. Well, Elifas we know for a long time because he was with BHP Billiton, and then he was with Sasol Coal. He's now this entrepreneur. They know the Sasol background very well. And so do a lot of people in South Africa, fortunately. So there is that potential to create that wealth out of this underground coal gasification, which is quite exciting, because you want that capability that we have in South Africa. We've got this mineral energy complex, and not enough entrepreneurial activities coming out of this. In fact, we're lucky to have Johan Brandt back, because he was recruited by the Australians because of his great knowledge of this underground coal gasification, and he was taken. Well, he went to Hungary, because in Central Europe the price of electricity is very high, and he thought, well, he would be able to start underground coal gasification there. But at the moment there's just no appetite for investment in Central Europe. So
they're not hungry for investment in Hungary.
No. So he's come back, and he's very intent on getting this project going. I would like to see it go ahead. In other words, I'd like to see this deal done with Eskom, because it could be a good starting point.
What other benefits are there to starting a project like this? Must require quite a few skills.
They say it began with Vladimir Lenin. I think Siemens, they did put this, they did use it for street lighting at some stage, this gas for street lighting. But Vladimir Lenin, apparently, I think he was exiled in somewhere in Zurich, and he said, look, you can't just kill these coal miners. There's too many coal miners dying underground. Forget about mining the coal. Leave it under there. Just use this process, this method of ignition of the coal, and extract the gas, and then we won't kill so many people. So, and that's how Johan Brandt got onto it, because there was a fatality at Eskom Coal, and he was mandated to look into safer ways of getting the benefit of coal without killing people, and he came up with this underground coal gasification. And I think Eskom was looking at it very seriously, but we had this global economic meltdown, and they froze all projects, etc. And so he's now trying to go it alone with Elifas Monkwe. At the same time, you've got Eskom now looking very intently at Majuba, at a plant there. So between the two of them, perhaps we could have a state effort and a private sector effort leading the way towards a commercial exploitation of underground coal gas, and at the same time there is that safety aspect. They feel it's more economical, and they will also feel it's more efficient.
Does it also have environmental benefits? We know how dirty coal is. Is the gas any cleaner?
Look, there was a lot of talk about the environmental issues, particularly at the Fossil Fuel Foundation workshop in Johannesburg this week, and Eskom were particularly responsible in the fastidious way which they unpacked, all the noxious parts of this. But, some people were saying that you can get more benzene in your nostrils if you stand next to a fuel pump while your car's being, while petrol's being put in your car. This is a minuscule amount, of deleterious materials, tiny amounts that in today's world you make a big thing of, But they're saying, you're going to get more benzene if you in a room where someone's smoking, far more than you will get from this. So I think it's good that we take such care about the environmental side of it. Johan Brandt says his initial solution will be to incinerate. So he wants to burn those hydrocarbons, the 10% waste. That's 90% water, 10% waste, is sort of a fire water. And he says he's doing that because he's still got a moderately sized plant. But what if you get to a bigger one, like Eskom? What are they going to do with that? That's valuable material, Will they put it into some sort of slimes dam like we used to? Hopefully they can come up with a better solution. As Johan Brandt was saying, the sort of damming of these, the waste material is forbidden in Hungary. So he sort of wrote that out of his equation. He will be incinerating. But what if he gets a bit bigger? You're going to have to look for other solutions. But remembering that there's still 10% of hydrocarbons in that waste. It's 90% water. Condensate contains 10% hydrocarbons, so you want to actually get that as well. So hopefully they'll go the full hog.
Well, South Africans are smart. I don't have any doubt that we'd figure it out.
They're not too bad, eh? Not too shabby.
Thank you very much for your time, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.